This is Brent coming at you with yet another overhead squat assessment video. In this video, we're going to tie in the rest of our upper body dysfunction. I showed you guys arms fall in a previous video. In this video, we're going to do that scapula elevation. I'm going to have my friend Mike come out. Mike's going to show us scapula elevation. It is part of his dysfunctional movement pattern, so this is a little easier for him to show. This is one of those signs where you guys may notice this happen before you even get into the dynamic assessment. If I go, hey Mike, throw your arms over your head, lock your elbows, and you can see him almost immediately. It's not just like, let's try to do arms up with keeping this depressed. I want you to actively keep this down. It's not this. This would be a much better pattern, a much better shoulder pattern that he's only getting upward rotation, but that his scapular stabilizers can keep him there. What you're seeing with Mike is as soon as I have him throw his arms up, where does his scapula go, right? Everything goes up that way. Now, the only reason we need the overhead squat is some people are better at hiding it. They'll do that optimal pattern, and then they'll go down into their squat, and as they go into their squat, all of this starts elevating up towards their ears. That's it. This is all that you guys are looking for. Thanks, Mike. So let me break this down for you. This is not the easiest sign to break down. Scapular elevation correlates with downward rotation, and I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, downward rotation, I just saw something move up. And you're right, you did. What you saw was the superior angle of the scapula. So if this is my scapula, this triangle, right? This is the superior angle. You saw the superior angle move up. But relative to the glenoid fossa, right? So if it's superior to the glenoid fossa, my glenoid fossa is now facing down. That's actually downward rotation. And you're also seeing a little bit of this anterior tipping as the scapula crawl over the rib cage. So what does that say about muscular function? Well, my downward rotators are a lot of muscles you guys already know as tight. Pec minor, levator scapulae, right? That nasty little muscle in the neck. Your rhomboids, how many of you guys get trigger points between your shoulder blades? Look up all of these release techniques. I'm sure once you guys start doing it, you'll be like, oh, yeah, now I know why that stuff is tight. You have some stretches in there for those too. Anterior tipping, you guys will notice for the most part it's the same muscles. So we have pec minor and levator scapulae also up on this part of our graph, so we know that they're short, we know they're overactive for two different joint actions. This also adds the upper trap. A note on the upper trap, guys, a lot of people blame the upper trap for being tight, being overactive, being the cause of their pain, when actually it's the levator scapulae. Now, our upward rotators, upper traps, lower traps, and serratus anterior, these you guys need to learn how to activate, especially lower trap and serratus anterior. If you do not have this in your arsenal and you're trying to help people with upper body dysfunction, you need to learn some activation exercises here, learn your progressions. You can make powerful changes with this stuff. And as far as our posterior tippers, you guys will notice it's the same. So you don't have a whole lot of techniques to learn. You guys see, there's a lot of overlap. I know downward rotation, upward rotation, anterior, posterior tipping, probably some new joint actions for some of you. But overall, the amount of techniques you have to learn is very small. There's only a few release techniques, a couple of stretches, and a couple activation progressions for you to learn, and you can make huge change. I'll talk with you guys soon. I hope you get great outcomes.